Hi everyone, welcome to week 4 of our Ursula sew along. This week we're going to finish up construction on Ursula. So we're going to attach our bodice pieces together. You should have cut the top bodice and the sleeves from your purple lycra. The bottom, front and back bodice are both going to get cut from your black cotton lycra or whatever black you've chosen to go on top of your tentacles. So for the back, pretty straightforward. You're going to layer your your top and bottom pieces together. It would help if I did them correctly. So, nope, we were right the first time. That's our terminal one. This is our top. Yep, comes down and gives that nice hourglass figure. So we're going to layer these together. I'm going to put a clip at the starting point, one at the ending point, and a couple in the middle just to make it easier to actually sew. You get the point of what we're going to do there. You're going to sew and you're going to have a finished back bodice. I do want you to notice that it's probably hard to see here on the screen. My purple fabric had a slightly dull side and a more shiny side. I've decided I want the dull side to be the side that's face out this time. So there's that. And then keeping in mind with our top bodice, I love the directions provided for the Sweetheart pattern from Patterns for Pirates. But I'm going to make a little suggestion here. When you get to attaching the top and bottom of your front together, this pattern calls for a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm going to take my 1/2 inch stitch perfection tape and I'm going to dry run it and tape them together. I've made one adjustment. I cut a slit at that center notch portion of the bottom item so that when I go ahead and put my tape on here, I can easily attach that to the top and kind of give it a good test fit. Now this is a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so if you get it right up against the edge and you sew it, you're never going to see it. Have no fear if you don't get it quite right along that edge and you still take your proper seam allowance and you see a little bit of it. You might be able to pull it out a little, or even better, it'll come out with a little bit of water. It is a water-soluble tape. It's also needle friendly. It's made with some silicone to help lubricate so you're not sticking to everything or worrying about gumming up your needle. Let's get that last little piece of release liner there pulled off. Alright, so see I've got my 2 pieces of tape there. Now, when I go to lay this on, I can match up my one side and follow my curve around. And the same with my second side and follow the curve around. And then the rest of this, of course, we would just pin. But I want you to see how easy that notch made it for us to line this up here. Makes it a whole lot easier than trying to fiddle with that one piece and line up one and then the other. Take this to your sewing machine first of all and stitch this point so it's nice and straight. If you're confident enough, start on this side, about 1 inch up, back stitch, sew down to your point, give it a pivot, sew to the rest of it. And I know this is just taped together, but let me slide this out flat and give you a quick little preview here, just so you can see how well you can make that center point come together. Isn't that great? And that is just taped. That's what that tiny little clip does and how it makes it easier. Go ahead and sew the rest of your seam. Take it to your serger to finish sewing off that curve or just to go ahead and finish the edge. Layer your back and your front together. Sew up the shoulder seams. Once your shoulder seams are sewn, you're going to take your sleeve and you're going to put it in while you're flat. Now remember, I said I want the dull side to be face up on this pattern. What do I want to say here? The sheen is face down and the sleeve is symmetrical front to back. So you're just going to match the notch up at the top edge when you go to actually, sew that in. So it, comes down around your curve. If you need to use the Stitch Perfection tape to tape it in place, by all means do. Just however you need to do that. Once you get the shoulders sewn at the top to get your sleeves in, you're going to fold the front and the back right together and you're going to sew up and out. Finish off your wrists the way you would like them finished, being turning them under, or maybe making some bands and put your band around the neckline to go ahead and finish that off. Then, when you want to put your top and your bottom together, remember we finished the bottom tentacles last week. Rather than just sewing your top and bottom directly together, I'd recommend on the inside you add a piece of 1.5 inch wide waistband elastic. That'll help hold some of the volume from your superstructure foam because, well, it may have only taken you a yard. Some of us used 3 yards, and some of you may have even decided to use more than that. It's pretty lightweight, but a couple yards of it does start to get heavy. So rather than having it pull down your bodice, giving that waistband elastic up here where the waistband's actually going to sit will allow to help distribute some of that additional weight so it doesn't stretch out and sag down further than what you'd like it to be. We're going to go ahead and make the shell with some hero foam with the help of Ellie and her hands. So that's up next. And then next week we're going to do flotsam and jetsam, and final week we're going to make an additional petticoat to go underneath. Don't want to make a petticoat for underneath? That's just fine. You might enjoy the tutorial for another cosplay in the future, or you might find it's kind of fun to customize that extra color that's peeking out from underneath your tentacles. Thank you so much!